what they do, they blur the lines between the digital and the physical worlds. Okay, the physical world that we all live in and the digital world which we are all a part of by using various technologies, by using our smart devices, by connecting to the internet. Okay, so these immersive technologies, they blur the line, or they somewhat they erase the line between the digital world and the physical one. Now, all these immersive technologies, they extend the reality we experience by either blending the virtual and real worlds or by creating a fully immersive experience. Okay, so it works in two ways. That is, either it blends the virtual and the real world. Okay, on real world, there comes a layer of the virtual world, or we are provided with a completely 100% fully immersive experience when we put on certain headsets on our eyes. We are just cut off from the real world and we fully immerse into the virtual reality. So we have three terms: these augmented reality, the virtual reality, and the mixed reality, which is a hybrid version of the two. Okay. Now, if we have to discuss about these three types of extended reality, that is the augmented reality, mixed reality, and virtual reality. If we compare them from physical reality to the full virtuality, okay, if we go from the real world to completely virtual world, okay, so this is the order. It starts with the augmented reality, in which the most of the elements are of the physical reality, but we apply a layer of some virtual reality, or a layer of the digital world. Then in mixed reality, there is some mixture of both the augmented reality and the virtual reality. So it's like a midpoint between the augmented experience as well as the real world experience and the digital experience. In virtual reality, we 100% immerse ourselves into the digital world. So, augmented reality overlays the digital information. Okay, so we have certain digital information like the images, some animation videos, some text onto the real world. So here we have a table, and if we point our camera, okay, our device's phone's camera on that, okay, we get further information. Okay, and that is the example of augmented reality. Now, the user here is not isolated from their environment. We are in the real world, we are not being isolated from the environment, and we can still see what's going on in front of them. Okay, so as an user, you can see what's going on. Okay, you yourself, you are using the device. Okay, the device is just providing a layer of digital world in the real world. So examples, if we discuss, there was a game launched 10 years ago by the name of Pokemon Go, okay, where you catch Pokemons in the real world, okay, by your smart devices. You just scan an area, okay, you just turn on the camera, and then you hunt for the Pokemons. We have the IKEA Place app and the Google Maps Live View. Okay, so these are the examples of the augmented reality. Then we have mixed reality, going one step ahead towards full virtuality, which integrates interactive digital objects in the real world in the real time. So here the objects are digital, okay, and but these digital objects, they are integrated into the real world and in real time. So the virtual and the real world objects, they coexist and can interact with one another. Okay. So the real world objects as well as the digital objects, they coexist, okay, at one point of time, and they also interact with each other. If we have to take examples, so examples, we have the Microsoft HoloLens for industrial design and for surgical planning. So Microsoft HoloLens is an example of mixed reality. Then we have the virtual reality, in which we achieve full virtuality. That means we create a completely immersive simulated digital environment that replaces the physical world. Okay. So we put on these headsets on our heads and we completely immerse into the digital world. Okay. We replace the physical world. So users wear a headset to get a 360-degree view of the artificial world. Okay. So if we have to take examples of the virtual reality, we have the Oculus Rift for gaming, pilot and and the surgeon training simulations that we provide, okay, by using these headsets. So these headsets, they are a part of the virtual reality. Now, summarizing the difference between the three, in augmented reality, what we get, the experience is there is an overlay of digital information on the real world object. In virtual reality, we get a fully immersive experience by using the headsets or the devices. Then in the mixed reality, which is a blend of the augmented reality and the virtual reality, it blends the real and the virtual world. So it's like a midpoint or average between the two. The devices that we use in augmented reality, we just use smartphones, okay, the which have the camera and the augmented reality glasses as well. Okay, we can use them either the smartphone or the AR glasses. In the virtual reality, we use the virtual reality headset to completely immerse into the digital world. And in mixed reality, we use the MR headset, that is mixed reality headset. Now, talking about the world, in augmented reality, we are actually in the real world, so the users see the real world. In the virtual reality, the user is isolated. Okay, user 100% gets immersed into the digital world or in the digital space. So is the user is completely isolated from the real world. And in the mixed reality, the user digitally interacts with the digital world interacts with the real world. Okay, so there is both of the worlds are present, the digital world as well as the components of the real world, they interact in real time. And all of this, okay, especially the virtual reality goes one step ahead, okay, and it takes the form of metaverse. Now, what is this metaverse? Now, metaverse is an emerging technology and it is an emerging 3D enabled digital space. Okay, so you can think of metaverse as a 3D space, but this 3D space, okay, just like our surroundings, it is digital. It is not in the real world, but it is the digital. In the digital world, we have this 3D space for lifelike personal and business experiences online. Okay, so that is the metaverse. Now, but why these extended reality, okay, or these types of MR or virtual reality or augmented reality? Why are they useful for us? Okay, so they have applications in healthcare, they have applications in manufacturing and engineering, and they also provide the workplace collaboration. Okay, so they are used in the core sectors. For example, we have the augmented reality assisted surgeries. We have the VR based or the virtual reality based therapy, as well as we have the MR or mixed reality for medical training and visualizing organs before the surgery. So it helps to better visualize. It helps the surgeons to better visualize the things that they have to operate. Then for manufacturing and engineering, it can help us to provide the remote assistance and interactive 3D modeling with the virtual prototype testing and the real-time design collaboration. Now, please note that the extended reality, being a developing technology or an emerging technology, it has a broad scope of applications. So, in the exam, if something very uh, realistic is written, okay, any application is given quite realistically, then you have to mark that as right. Then, for the workplace collaboration, we can attend virtual meetings, remote employee training, and global collaboration in the shared digital spaces. It also enhances the education as well as training. Okay, so immersive learning environments and skill-based simulations would provide. Okay, it can provide dangerous or which can be dangerous or costly in the real world. Okay, so we can provide simulation. Okay, for example, the flight simulations, or we can provide simulations to the firefighters. Okay, to fight or to save people in cases of disasters. Okay, we can learn driving in this way. Okay, by using these simulations. For retail and e-commerce, we can very well use the augmented reality. Okay, so the AR powered virtual try-ons, for example, we have apps for watch companies or the jewelry companies, even the furniture companies. They provide us with the augmented reality apps so that we can visualize or we can interact with their product. Okay, and let the customers see the furniture or the things on themselves or in their homes. Then for gaming and entertainment, we have already discussed. Okay, we have the XR driven games, the extended reality driven games like the Pokemon Go, which uses the augmented reality. Okay, we can immerse into the interactive movies as well as the virtual uh, concerts. as well as the tourism experience. We can just put on the headsets and we can experience a lot of things, starting from education and entertainment as well. But what is India doing and why the extended reality is critical or is significant for India? Okay. So it can help us to build a metaverse. Okay. So extended reality is the foundational technology for the next generation of the internet. And the next generation of internet is the fully immersive digital world for work, for play, as well as for socializing. Then we can leverage, it can help us to leverage the 5G and the artificial intelligence. And it also aligns with the idea of digital India and will contribute massively to the digital economy. So it can help us to build a metaverse, leverage the 5G and the AI in catalyzing the digital economy, as well as in aligning with the goals of digital India. Now, the government of India in the year 2022, okay, it's been a couple of years, 3, 4 years back, they launched the extended reality uh, program for the or the startup program. Okay, they launched the extended reality startup program. Now, this was envisioned in the year, this was launched in the year 2022 to 23. Okay, and this was an initiative of the Ministry of Electronics and IT and Information Technology, its startup hub, as well as the company. Okay, so this XR startup program, okay, was a collaboration between Métis Startup Hub and Meta. Okay, so to accelerate India's contribution towards building the foundations of the metaverse and nurturing the development of the extended reality technologies in India. Now, this program or this extended reality startup program, it has two major components, okay, or it has two major parts. It is an accelerator program and a grand challenge. Okay, now what are this accelerator program and the grand challenge? So the accelerator, okay, which was the first component or the first segment. Okay, so here the this was for fostering the early stage startups. Okay, so this was for the early stage startups. The target was 40 early stage startups working with the extended reality technologies. And it was provided a comprehensive, all these 40 early stage startups were provided with a 6 month comprehensive 6 month program. And the benefits, these startups, they got grant of rupees 20 lakh per startup. Okay. Mentorship network was provided to the various connections in the industry to potential strategic partners as well as investors. The infrastructure, the focus was on infrastructure, technology, and infrastructure support. In the second phase, that is the grand challenge. Okay. Now, this was for the early stage innovators. Okay. This was held in two stages. That is stage one, a boot camp, and in stage two, the MVP development, that is minimum viable product. Okay. Development of the minimum viable products. And its goal was to scale from the R&D phase, that is the research and development phase, to developing a workable prototypes and the minimum viable product. So after the accelerator, we had the grand challenge, and the startups here now has to focus on making certain workable prototypes, some working prototypes, and the products which are at least bare minimally they are viable. The focus areas was on the sector of education, learning and skills, the healthcare sector, gaming and entertainment, agriculture, technology and climate action, and tourism and sustainability. So, in the stage one, there were 80 shortlisted innovators. They were provided a grant of rupees 50,000 each. Then, in the stage two, 16 finalists were selected out of these 80, and they were given a grant of rupees 20 lakh each. So, summarizing our discussion on the extended reality. So, extended reality, as we have discussed, is an umbrella term for immersive technologies that merge the physical as well as the digital world. And it comprises of the augmented reality, the virtual reality, and the mixed reality. In augmented reality, we overlay the digital information on the real world things. Example is Pokemon Go, okay, or the Google Maps live view. In virtual reality, we create a fully immersive simulated digital environment that replaces the physical world. Example, the Oculus Rift gaming, okay, the pilot and surgeon training simulations. In mixed reality, we blend real and virtual worlds and we allow the digital objects to interact with the environment. For example, we have the Microsoft HoloLens. So, if we have to summarize the applications of the extended reality, so it can help us in the healthcare industry, in education for simulations, in retail industry, uh, or in the consumer based industry, because we can virtually try on the items like the jewelry, the watches, as well as the clothes, and in manufacturing for developing the working prototypes. Now, this topic of extended reality, okay, over the last 5 6 years, couple of questions have been asked by UPSC from this topic. Okay, like this question was asked in the UPSC prelims examination of 2019. In the context of digital technologies for entertainment, consider the following statements. In augmented reality, a simulated environment is created and the physical world is completely shut out. In virtual reality, images generated from a computer are projected on real life objects or surroundings. The augmented reality AR allows individuals to be present in the world and improves the experience using the camera of the smartphones or PC. Virtual reality closes the world and transposes an individual, providing complete immersion experience. Okay. Now, we have seen the definition of augmented reality as well as the virtual reality. Now, the augmented reality, when the digital information is overlaid on the real world. Okay. And in virtual reality, we fully immerse into a simulated digital environment. So, going by that knowledge, we can eliminate option one, that is, in augmented reality, a simulated environment is not created. Okay. So, this is the definition of the virtual reality. Okay. Now, the second statement is also incorrect because it is the definition of the augmented reality. Okay. So, the two statements, okay, or the two definitions have been interchanged with each other. The third statement, that is, augmented reality allows individuals to be present in the world and improve the experience. Now, this statement is correct, okay, because we just provide a layer of the digital information over the real world. In the virtual reality, closes the world and transposes the individual to a complete immersion experience. Now, this statement is also correct. Okay, so you can see that the first two statements and the three or four statements. Okay, if you assume that three or four statements are correct, then the first and second statements they automatically gets incorrect. Okay, because all the statements or the two sets of statements they are contradicting each other. Okay, so either 1 and 2 can be correct or 3 and 4 can be correct. Okay, so we can safely eliminate these two options. Okay, but we know from definition, okay, that 3 and 4 are correct, so the correct answer here would be B, 3 and 4. Now, this question was asked quite recently in the prelims examination of 2024. Which one of the following words phrases is most appropriately used to denote an interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds? Okay, focus on this phrase, that is 3D virtual worlds that can be accessed simultaneously by millions of users who can exert property rights over the virtual items. Okay. So when we have discussed the definition of metaverse, okay, so when we discussed the definition of metaverse, we said that it is the 3D digital space. Okay. So from here we can get the cue that the correct answer